Are you gonna put a little people in there?
Okay.
You gotta put a little me and a little Maggie.
What is up, guys? We are going to be building another Overlander, but small. And so we'll be making a scale version of my truck. I got this Enduro trail runner here, fresh out of the box. I got the Proline Tacoma body. I got a roof rack. They had Method 701 bronze wheels that I found from Element, which is perfect because that matches my truck. Got the Night Runner bumpers and the Night Runner bed rack rooftop tent, also from Element. First, we'll start off with cutting the body and prepping it for paint. Alright, so we're going to start out with cutting out around the bottom edge of the body, just to kind of free it up a little bit, let it bend easier, and make it easier to cut out the wheel arches and make smoother cuts. As you can see, you can score it with a razor blade, and then it'll bend back and forth and kind of crack through, as you'll see here in a second. It just kind of breaks and frees it up. Then we're going to move on to cutting out the wheel arches there. I have a pair of, I guess you could call them RC body scissors. They have like a curved tip to them. I'm just cutting around, trimming out the excess around the, underneath the side skirts and the wheel wells. It doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty darn close. And then I'm going to move on to some light test fitting real quick, just to make sure I get it all lined up right and centered. See if I need to do more cutting or trimming of any sort before I clean it up. After the first test fit, I realized I needed to narrow up the frame sliders there, so I'm going to do that real quick so the body sits nice inside that groove there. So I'm just gonna slide them in. I just took a guess and went all the way tight, or in the narrowmost hole. I'm going to test, make sure, see if that was the right distance. Body fit in there, in the grooves nice, held it in there. Then I check for more fitment and stuff. Then I'm going to cut it some more, make more room for the wheels, plus my truck. The fenders are cut, both front and rear, so I tried to match that best I could. I went about halfway on the flare there, just as kind of a guess. And again, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, as long as it follows the body lines. I figured I'd cut off the bumper while I was at it, since we'll be replacing it, putting a different one on it. And then you see here I used the scoring trick again. I just used the razor blade, scored a piece, scored a section of it, and then was able to bend it back and forth to get it to break free. And here I am testing it again. You always want to test it as much as you can. I haven't cut the fender flares on the side you're looking at right now.
You always want to test fitment as much as you can. There, now I cut it. You always want to test fitment as much as you can, you know, before you paint. You want to do as little cutting after paint as you can. And then now we're going to clean it up. I have a little round file there. So we'll go through, file all the edges, smooth it out, kind of break the corners so they're not so sharp. And any rougher cuts, you can, as you can see, I cut out a little more in that rear fender, and just filing it, making lines straight. The bodies come with a overspray film on the outside. You want to be sure to not remove it, leave it on, as when you paint, you don't want the overspray to get onto the finished plastic. Alright, then we'll use some sandpaper to finish cleaning up the edges, soften them a little bit. This is just some, I think some 220 I found in my toolbox. And then we're going to test fit it one more time, just to be sure. And then we're going to wash it real good. Use some dish soap. Get all the grease, fingerprints, and any plastic shavings off and out of it. It helps make the paint look a lot better and a lot more consistent. And then after that, we're going to let it dry.
Real quick, I forgot to mark the body post cutouts, so I will be putting those in. The Enduro, the truck came with these ones on it for the 4Runner or other, you know, SUV bodies, and then it came with the smaller ones, like the ones on the front for trucks and truck bodies. So I will be putting those on, marking out the holes. Marking out the holes to cut that. So
Alright, this is something I forgot to do the first time before I washed it, but we'll do it now. So we're going to mark out the body posts on the body. We're going to level it up, center the wheel arch on the wheel, and then body posts on the body. So as you can see, I'm measuring the distance from the outside of the body to each body post, and marking it with a Sharpie on top. So we will then use our body reamer coming from the top to push through and cut a hole that way. And then as you can see, I'm using one of the body posts to make sure the hole is big enough, but obviously not too big. And then I'll come through the back with the body reamer and clean up the holes the best I can, kind of deburr it, make it look all nice and pretty. And then same story with the back, coming in from up top, making sure the body posts fit, and then cleaning it up from the back. And then test fit it one more time, just to be sure everything lines up, and then go wash it again and get rid of all the shavings.
I know it's a little raked right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut these rear ones down here a little bit shorter, just so I can lower the actual point of contact just to get that a little lower. But other than that, fits good. So now I gotta wash it again, and we'll be back. This is dry, or mostly dry. Still got a couple little droplets there, but dry enough. We'll put the window masks on. All RC bodies should come with a window mask sheet that's already pre-cut out, or some of them will come with a just a blank sticker sheet that you then cut to the windows themselves. But luckily enough, this one came with pre-cut ones.
All right, once it's dry, then we can start applying the window masks. They're a little tricky to get on, especially the bigger ones. But you can just, take it slow and try to get it lined up as best you can. Depending on the curve of the body, you might run into some wrinkles. It is best to avoid them, but if you can get the wrinkles smoothed out, you should be good. These stickers tend to do pretty good not letting any paint bleed through the corners. As you can see, I kind of struggled here with the front windshield. Ended up having one wrinkle there, but in the end, it turned out okay. Moving on to the side windows. This body had some nice ridges that made it pretty obvious on where to place them. So, kind of same story all around. Just make sure you smooth it out and everything. Taillights, headlights were a little tough. You just kind of gotta, you just take it slow. And then it's ready for the first coat of paint. You want to do a nice, light and even coat. A nice light first coat will make it so the paint adheres better. You don't need to worry about covering every little bit, but make sure the first coat is nice and even.
All right, now that that's drying, let's work on the chassis. Okay, so I already did a little bit of experimenting beforehand on what tires to use, since the wheels that I got are 1.9 inch wheels, which are for the bigger 1/10 scale crawlers like the TRX4 or the SCX10. For these ones, the more scale focused builds have a 1.55 inch wheel size. So I did some experimenting. All right, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, so as I was saying, these are the 1/9 method wheels with the tires that are meant for these wheels. But I figured out how to put the 1/9 wheels on the smaller 1.5. Let me get you a size comparison. The 1/9 wheels onto the smaller 1.55 tires. It's pretty simple. You for these ones, you just take apart, I don't know how well you can see them, but it's got little faux lug nuts that actually hold the wheel together. Take those out. Same thing for these, or the ones that are already apart, you just then put them in. There's your bare wheel. Now, how these wheels are supposed to go together, they have three pieces. Well, they have the piece that's inside the tire, the inner wheel piece here, and then the outer wheel piece here, and then you have the hex adapter here. But what I found was easiest is you just take this center piece out and kind of force the wheel, force both outer pieces in, kind of stretch it out, kind of make it fit. And then with these ones, the holes aren't exactly drilled in the right spot, so you gotta kind of line it up before you throw it in there, because it's kind of hard to turn while it's in there. Then you just kind of move it around, kind of make the wheel relax a little bit, and then you can start putting your, then you can start kind of get it started. And then put the back hex piece on. To get that centered. And put the rest of them on. All right, now that the method wheels are on, it is time to put on the bumper. But there's the bumper. It doesn't look exactly like my truck, but I think it's gonna be pretty close, and if you're not paying attention, you won't notice. Just in time for our third coat. I did a second coat while doing the wheels. And the second coat you want to put on thicker, still very even. And then this third coat, same sort of deal, thick and even. Make sure with the third coat you get into all of the nooks and crannies that might easily get missed. And then kind of double check. The light will help you see any spots that you missed. So that's what it looks like on the outside right now. It'll look a little muted
Won't look very glossy, obviously, but once you take that overspray film off, it'll look nice and shiny. I'm gonna let that cure overnight, and we'll get back to it tomorrow. All right, we're back. The paint is dry. I'm kind of giving it a once over, you know, making sure I didn't, you know, miss any spots or anything like that. I think we're ready to start peeling the window masks off. Alright, taking the window masks out, you want to make sure the paint is completely dry, or else you will peel up the paint along with the sticker. Make sure you're peeling you know, nice and slow and even pressure. You don't want to yank on it, just in case you chip the paint in the process. Alright, now that I got all the window masks off, if you can see, there are a couple spots where it kind of bled through, where it wasn't sealed up all the way on the edges. You kind of see right here, and then on the tail lights there. The stickers that come with it will definitely will cover it, and it don't matter. Now it is time to finally remove the overspray film. You can kind of start to see how glossy the body is. After the fact, it looks really good. Yeah, onto the detail stickers. A lot of bodies will come with things like corner lights and window borders, and you know, headlights, taillights. Pretty simple application. You just kind of follow the body lines and throw them on real quick. You want to be careful with the razor blade, or you can use scissors and get as close to the outline and as clean of a cut as you can get. Alright, we got oh, we didn't get all the windows on. I got most of the windows on with the back tail light. I'll do the windshield real quick, and then I'll show you guys the headlights, tail lights. Alright, real quick before I put the headlight stickers on, I got the tail light. It's on here. There are two choices on this specific body. There is one if you're not using the light buckets, and then just a detail one if you are using the light buckets. So I plan on putting lights on this eventually, so I will put these on there. These ones would make it easier. Okay, these stickers, just to be clear, I'm pretty sure these inner light bucket details, they go on the inside of the light buckets. They do not go on the outside where these ones go. They go on the inside. They are details into here. I'll show you when I'm done. Alright, oh, I lied to you. Well, I got one side done. Quick tip, you get like a screwdriver. If you don't have a sticker pick, I grabbed a small screwdriver to put the sticker on, kind of fed it in there, and was able to hold it down either with that finger or hold it down that way. Just makes it easier to place. You're not having to, especially these smaller ones, you don't have a big finger in the way. I'll get this last main headlight one on, and then I'll show it to you inside the truck. Alright, so there it is inside the truck. It does have a grill that will go on it up here, but I mean, overall it looks pretty good with lights in it. I think it'll make it even more realistic there, more scale. All you need to do is just kind of drill out from the front, probably just drill out the little light bucket, and it should just pop right in. Okay, now on to mounting. Actually, mounting these accessories. We'll get our body reamer, and then it came with the proper stuff for that. Alright, now for the physical details. For this body, everything had little dimples for me to drill through. I use the body reamer. You can use a drill bit, but I just find it easier to use the body reamer to kind of have a adjustment in size. This is actually the first body that I've seen that has little markings for all the details. It was really nice not having to guess where to put the mirrors and all the other small details. I got the door handles, mirrors, and the wipers on. The wipers were easy. I mean, everything had a little detent on the body itself. So I just drilled out with my body reamer. You can use a drill bit if you want, but this makes it easier to keep going bigger, or take it slowly. For the wipers, I just drilled the hole, and it came with screws, and I just put screws into him here. So now it's time to put the grill and headlight buckets on. Again, just had some detents right here I already drilled out, so then it's just lining it up, putting the screws in, and this will secure the headlight buckets. You won't need adhesive for it. It should just kind of pinch in there, and those headlight buckets will be secure and in place with the grill. So that's pretty neat. Now for the tail light buckets, it did come with its own adhesive. This kit does. I mean, you can get any 3M or similar double-sided mounting tape, I think they call it. But I'm just going to cut this into 4 sections, and the taillights have little tabs on the side of it, so you can just put them on nice and easy. Peel the other side off, line it up, and stick it in. Now this stuff you want to press firmly. Make sure you get a nice good seal with it. And also be careful if you don't let the paint dry all the way, it can peel it off with the paint. Oh, I know it'll be kind of hard to tell with the stickers on it, but once I put lights in it, you'll easily be able to tell. Yeah, that's the completed body so far. I still have a couple decals and then all of the overland equipment on it. Bad news. Bed rack too big. The only thing I can think of would be to cut out a section of it here, and then probably cut out this part. Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. But for now, we'll just move on. On to the rooftop tent. Alright, after staring at it for a couple minutes, I figured it out. The flathead screws go into the bed rail this way, and the button head screws go down from the rack into the supporting rails, and then
well, the nuts will go into the body on the other side to hold those in, and then I think, I would imagine the silver ones go into the tent. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So let's build the rack and get it marked up for the truck. There we go, so that's kind of mocked up there. I want it pretty centered. We'll just say 1.5. 1.5. Yeah. About like that. Poke a hole with the reamer. Make it just big enough for the bolt to fit in. Ah. Okay, I know you guys couldn't see it very well, but it's kind of tough to get in there, which makes me think it's not the right way, but I'm committed, so I'm gonna get the rest of these in there, and I'll get back to you. Alright, we got the bed rails on. They're not, I don't know how well you can see them, but they're through there. They're kind of, the nuts were kind of tough to get in there, but they're on there. So now we'll bolt the tent onto the rack, pin the rack up, and then that'll be it for that. All right, there we go, rooftop tent on. Oh, I'm looking pretty damn good so far. Well, since we can't really get the roof rack on yet, I guess it's time to, oh, snorkel. Let's take a look here. So yeah, it's just got a couple little studs, so I will kind of remount the holes, and then I think I'm just gonna put some sticky tape on it, and that should be good. Perfect, so that's before the sticky tape. I mean, for it not being meant for this rig, that's not too bad. There's that. Moment of truth, I hope it looks good. So the front ones actually can go up a hole. Put the pin in. Well, no, that'll work because we'll suck the bumper in. Yeah, we'll suck the bumper in and that'll be good. So yeah, that was a pretty good guess.
Alright, now for the finishing touches.
There